They left for the big trip. For cars, 17 people, one chat without me. I woke up alone. Mom said, "We thought you were with your cousins." I said nothing. 2 hours later, my sister sent the wrong screenshot. "He's not here." OMG, it worked. I replied, "Merry Christmas." Then I canceled the $15,500 booking. Step 2 began. Can you imagine waking up on Christmas morning to 103 missed calls, but not a single one from your own family? At 27 years old, I found myself in an empty house, surrounded by the ghosts of what should have been holiday chaos, realizing the people who were supposed to love me most had deliberately left me behind. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was deafening, a hollow echo of a betrayal so deep, it still takes my breath away. What the hell happened next? You're not going to believe this. Growing up in the Morgan family alone wasn't a word we used. My parents, Margaret and Thomas, had 3 kids, my perfect older sister, Amanda, my charming, spoiled younger brother, Kyle, and then there was me, Natalie, the middle child. The reliable one. The one who remembered birthdays, organized everything, and kept the peace. It was exactly like every middle child stereotype you've ever heard. Our annual Christmas trips were legendary, a tradition that grew from just us to an extravagant 17-person family affair. And guess who was always the designated family helper? Yep, me. Need a location researched? Ask Natalie. Accommodations booked? Natalie's got it. Everyone's dietary restrictions, medication schedules, entertainment preferences? That's what Natalie's for. I cherish those trips, even if I often felt like the family's invisible utility player. Last year, in the Smoky Mountains, for a brief moment, I actually felt seen. Mom complimented my tree decorations. Dad asked my opinion on his retirement. It was a glimpse of what I desperately wanted, to be more than just the help. But family dynamics are like shifting sands, and the last 6 months had been a whirlwind of change for everyone but me. Amanda got engaged to Ryan, a financial analyst with family money. Their engagement party was a whole production. Kyle got into Princeton, instantly turning my parents into Princeton parents. My own promotion to senior account manager? That's nice, Mom said. Dad asked if it came with a raise, and seemed disappointed when I explained the big bump was still months away. New additions to the family meant new alliances, new connections, while I just remained. Useful, but never essential. Still, I was excited for this year's trip. I found the resort in the Colorado mountains, booked it, a premium package for $15,500, all on my credit card, with promises from everyone to reimburse me at Christmas. 3 family meetings, endless logistics, packing lists, gift exchanges, road trip playlists. I handled it all. The reservation was in my name. I'd made sure this would be our best Christmas yet. Looking back, the red flags were everywhere. Conversations would stop when I entered a room. Trip texts went unanswered for days. Smaller family gatherings happened, and I just wasn't invited. 2 weeks before the trip, I overheard Mom and Amanda whispering in the kitchen. When I walked in, they changed the subject to Christmas cookies, telling me it was Christmas surprises, nothing for you to worry about. A few days later, Mom asked to borrow my credit card as a backup. When I asked why, she fumbled, "In case we need to make changes." It made no sense, but I let it go. The night before departure, everyone was supposed to be ready by 7 a.m. I stayed up until 2 a.m. wrapping gifts, finalizing details, making sure everything was perfect. I set my alarm for 5:30, but I never heard it. I woke up to blinding sunlight. My heart slammed against my ribs. 9:15 a.m. How? I jumped out of bed, calling out apologies, rushing into the hallway. Silence. Not the calm quiet of a sleeping house, but the heavy, hollow silence of emptiness. Mom? Dad? Anyone still here? My voice echoed back to me. Their rooms were immaculate, luggage gone. Amanda's room, Kyle's, all signs of life, except for me. My chest tightened with every empty space. I ran downstairs. Christmas decorations twinkled mockingly. In the kitchen, a pile of breakfast dishes in the sink. They'd eaten. Together. Without waking me. The driveway was bare. My Honda, alone. They were gone. All of them. Standing barefoot on the cold porch, breath clouding in the December air, the reality hit me. They'd left me behind. My hands trembled as I grabbed my phone. Nothing. No missed calls, no texts asking where I was. I called Mom. It rang 4 times before she answered, her voice bright, cheerful, oblivious. Natalie. Good morning, sweetheart. Did you just wake up? The background noise was unmistakable. Christmas music, laughter, a cacophony of joy. They were hours into the drive. You left without me, I said, my voice barely a whisper. A beat of silence. What? No, aren't you in the van with your cousins? My throat tightened. No, Mom. I'm at home. Alone. I overslept and you all left without me. Another pause. I heard her muffled voice, speaking to someone else. When she came back, her tone had shifted, less cheerful, more concerned, but it felt false. Oh, Natalie. There must have been a miscommunication. We all thought you were in Rachel's van. I'm so sorry, sweetie. From the background, Dad's voice. Tell her. We'll figure something out. Did anyone check if I was in the van? I asked, fighting to keep my voice steady. Did anyone look for me before you left? Well, it was hectic. You know how mornings like this are. Everyone was rushing around. I guess we just assumed. You assumed. I repeated flatly. 17 people. Not one of you noticed I wasn't there? Not during breakfast? Not during loading the cars? Not during the head count I specifically suggested we do. Natalie, don't be like that. It was an honest mistake. We'll figure something out. Maybe you can catch a flight and meet us there. I have to go now, reception's spotty. I'll call you back. The call ended before I could respond. I stood there, phone in hand, staring at nothing. They'd been on the road for hours. I tried to be rational. Maybe it was an honest mistake. I sat down, laptop open, searching for flights to Colorado. The prices for last-minute Christmas travel were astronomical. While searching, I called my Aunt Patricia, who'd skipped the trip due to a hip replacement. I explained everything, hoping for sympathy. Instead, an uncomfortable pause. Oh, sweetie, she said, her voice gentle but awkward. I'm sure it was just confusion in all the excitement. Did you talk to Mom this morning? Or Amanda? Rachel called to say they were on the road. Did she mention me? Not specifically, no. Aunt Pat, do you know something you're not telling me? Her sigh was heavy. Natalie, I don't want to get in the middle. Call your mother again. My stomach churned. I opened Instagram. Amanda had already posted photos, group selfies, a diner breakfast stop. Everyone smiling, laughing, enjoying our trip without me. Comments flooded in. Best Christmas trip ever. Road trip vibes. Mom even wrote, so blessed to have almost everyone together. Almost. A slap in the face. She knew. Then I saw something else. Several comments referenced messages from a group chat I wasn't in. Just like we planned, Operation Road Trip is a go. I searched my phone. Nothing. They had a separate conversation. Without me, the pieces were starting to form a terrifying picture. 2 hours later, my phone pinged. A text from Amanda. It was a screenshot of a conversation with one message highlighted. He's really not here. OMG, our plan worked. Mom kept asking if we should wait, but I told her he was probably still sleeping. Got to admit, I feel a little bad, but after last year's drama, we deserve a peaceful Christmas. Below it, Amanda typed, oops, wrong person. Ignore that. He's not here. Not she. They didn't even see me as a person, just a problem. Our plan worked. There was no misinterpretation. This wasn't an accident. They had planned to leave without me. I replied with 2 words, Merry Christmas. Then I put my phone down and finally, gratefully, let the tears fall. For 2 hours, I sat in a stunned daze. Amanda's screenshot burned in my mind. My family hadn't forgotten me. They had actively, purposefully excluded me. Amanda's frantic messages kept coming. It's not what it looks like. Please call me. You're taking this the wrong way. I ignored them all. Instead, I logged into our family-shared cloud storage. Amanda was notorious for backing up everything. In her folder, I found her text messages from the past month. I hesitated, then opened them. What I found confirmed my worst fears, and then some. Conversations between Amanda and various family members about the Natalie situation. Plans to create a separate group chat without me. Discussions on how to ensure I wouldn't be included. Amanda to Mom, 3 weeks ago. Do we really have to bring Natalie? Last year, she ruined Christmas with all her drama. Mom's reply, she did book everything and it's on her credit card. Amanda, so we let her book it and then figure out a way to leave without her. Win. Another conversation, this time with Kyle. Mom's worried about leaving Natalie behind. Kyle, just leave before she wakes up. She sleeps like the dead anyway. By the time she realizes we're gone, we'll be halfway to Colorado. The most sickening discovery? A group text where they had actually voted on whether to include me. 3 for bringing me, 12 against, 2 abstentions. My own parents had voted against me. Mom had initially defended me, she is family, and she did arrange everything, but quickly buckled under pressure. I suppose you're right. It would be more relaxing without having to manage her feelings all the time. Manage my feelings? I whispered to the empty room. Last year's drama was when I calmly asked Cousin Mike to stop making jokes about my single status, pointing out his comments were hurtful. That's it. A simple request for respect. And that was too much drama. As I dug deeper, years of injustice flooded my memory. Giving up my room for relatives while Amanda refused to share hers. Working 2 jobs to help pay family expenses, only for my parents to spend the money on Kyle's new car. My achievements minimized while my siblings were celebrated. Mom snapping at me for doing something wrong in the kitchen, then praising Amanda for the exact same technique. Dad interrupting me mid-sentence to point out Kyle. Aunt Susan accidentally leaving me out of a family photo and no one noticing until I said something. I had always been the family scapegoat, but until now I never realized how deliberate it was. I'd made excuses, rationalized their behavior. I'd given them $8,000 from my savings when they struggled with mortgage payments, money I'd saved for my own down payment. Never repaid. I bought Kyle's laptop for school, covered Amanda's car repairs. And this trip, the $15,500 on my credit card. Every year the family promised to reimburse me. Every year excuses were made. I called my father. Straight to voicemail. Kyle texted, in the middle of something. Call later. Aunt Susan read my message, didn't reply. Uncle Robert's phone just rang. Finally, Cousin Rachel picked up. Natalie, hey, what's up? Rachel, I need you to be honest with me. Did everyone intentionally leave without me this morning? A long pause. I don't know what you're talking about. Please don't lie to me. Not you too. She sighed. Look, it wasn't my idea, okay? Amanda and Kyle organized the whole thing. They said you're always complaining, making everything difficult. They convinced everyone it would be more fun without you. And you went along with it? What was I supposed to do? It was majority rule. You could have stood up for me. You could have at least warned me. And risk being excluded too? I'm sorry, Natalie. That's just how family dynamics work sometimes. I hung up without saying goodbye. I went in my childhood bedroom, closed the door, and broke down. Years of being overlooked, dismissed, taken for granted crashed over me. I sobbed until I was raw. As the December afternoon darkened, I cycled through shock, denial, bargaining. Maybe if I apologized, they'd let me come. Maybe if I tried harder to be what they wanted. But as night fell, those thoughts gave way to anger. White-hot, clarifying anger. It burned away the fog of self-doubt I'd lived in for so long. After hours of crying, a strange calm settled over me. Empty, but clear-headed. I called Rachel back. I need the complete truth, I said. No sugarcoating. What exactly did they say about me? Rachel hesitated, then sighed. They said you're too sensitive, that you make everything about yourself, that you're controlling about trip details, and it's exhausting. Amanda said holidays would be more relaxing without you there, questioning everything and getting your feelings hurt. And my parents? Your mom tried to defend you at first, but Amanda kept bringing up last Christmas, calling it the incident. Eventually, your mom agreed it might be easier without you. Your dad just went along with whatever your mom decided. And the plan? To leave before you woke up. tell you it was a mistake. If you called, claim they thought you were in another car. By the time you figured it out, we'd be too far away for you to join us. The confirmation hit like a physical blow, but I remained calm. Thank you for being honest, Rachel. I'm sorry, Natalie. I should have said something. Yes, you should have, I replied, then ended the call. I sat on the edge of my bed. Not just today, but years of it. Years of being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who gave and gave while receiving so little. Years of telling myself it was normal, that family was complicated, that love wasn't always obvious. But this wasn't love. This was exploitation. Emotional abuse. A family that had decided I was worth less, that my feelings didn't matter, that I could be discarded when inconvenient. Enough, I whispered to my empty room. Enough. I opened my laptop again, navigated to the resort's website, and logged into my account. There it was, the reservation in my name. $15,500. I'd been saving for this trip all year. Another dive into Amanda's backed-up messages revealed their full intention. Natalie won't cancel the reservation even if she finds out, Kyle had written. She cares too much about what everyone thinks. She'll probably book a flight out and pretend everything's fine. And we still get our free Christmas vacation. Amanda had replied with a laughing emoji. I stared at those messages for a long time. Then I picked up my phone and texted Amanda a single reply to her earlier frantic messages. Merry Christmas. Let them think everything was fine. Let them think I was predictable, reliable Natalie who would never rock the boat. I started a list. Every time I'd covered expenses, every loan unpaid, every sacrifice, every time I'd been overlooked. It ran 3 pages, single-spaced. Then a second list, things I wanted. Respect. Appreciation. Reciprocity. Honesty. The simple dignity of being treated as an equal. I called my therapist, Dr. Michelle. It was after hours on Christmas Eve, but she answered. Natalie, what's happened? I explained, my voice surprisingly steady. When I finished, a moment of silence. What you're describing is a profound betrayal, she finally said. Your reaction is not only justified, it's healthy. The anger you're feeling is appropriate. The question is, what do you want to do with it? I want to stop being a doormat. I want consequences for their actions. I want them to understand they can't treat me this way anymore. Those are all valid desires. What specific actions are you considering? I told her my plan. Will these actions move you toward healing or deeper into hurt? She asked. Both, maybe. Initially more hurt, but ultimately healing because I'll finally be standing up for myself. Then I support you. Just remember, you're making these choices for yourself, not to punish them. The goal isn't revenge, it's self-respect. After we hung up, I felt validated. My reaction wasn't excessive. My anger wasn't unwarranted. My plan wasn't unreasonable. I opened the resort's website again and clicked Contact Us. Then I dialed the number. Pinehurst Mountain Resort, this is Melanie speaking. Hi Melanie, my name is Natalie Morgan. I have a reservation for 6 cabins beginning tomorrow, December 25th. Yes, Miss Morgan, I have your reservation here. The premium Christmas package for 17 guests. Is there something I can help you with? I need to cancel the entire reservation. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. May I ask the reason for cancellation? I hesitated only briefly. The reservation was for a family trip, but there's been a change of plans. The family decided to exclude me after I'd already paid for everything. A pause. I see. Her voice softened with genuine sympathy. I'm very sorry to hear that. Let me check our cancellation policy. I heard keyboard clicks. Normally, our Christmas packages are non-refundable this close to the date, but given the circumstances, let me speak with my manager. I was on hold for several minutes. When Melanie returned, her voice was warm. Miss Morgan, my manager has approved a full refund to your credit card. The funds should be returned within 3 to 5 business days. Thank you, I said, relief flooding through me. $15,500 I couldn't afford to lose. There's one more thing, Melanie continued. Your family is still planning to arrive tomorrow, correct? Yes, as far as I know. Would you like us to let them know the reservation has been canceled when they arrive, or would you prefer to inform them yourself? I considered this. Actually, if it's not too much trouble, I'd prefer if they found out when they arrive. Another pause. I understand. We can certainly handle that discreetly. Thank you, Melanie. You've been very kind. You're welcome, Miss Morgan. And if I may say so, I hope you find a way to enjoy your holiday despite these difficult circumstances. After hanging up, a monumental weight lifted from my shoulders. Step 1 complete. Now for step 2. I set my alarm for 6:30 the next morning. Then I started gathering what I would need: documents proving property ownership, financial records, keys, my passport, personal mementos I couldn't bear to lose. As I worked, I booked a solo vacation to Bali, departing the following evening. I'd always wanted to go, but had never prioritized my own travel dreams over family obligations. The irony wasn't lost on me that I'd be spending about the same amount on my solo trip as I'd been prepared to lose on the family trip. I wrote a detailed letter to my family, explaining exactly why I was taking these actions, careful to focus on facts rather than emotions. I set up an automatic email to be sent to all of them once I was on my flight. Then I made 2 final calls, one to a locksmith who charged extra for Christmas Day service, and one to a moving company that advertised anytime, anywhere availability. Both confirmed they could meet my needs at premium holiday rates. Money well spent, in my opinion. As I finally went to bed in the early hours of Christmas morning, I felt something I hadn't expected: peace. Tomorrow would be difficult, but necessary. And for the first time in my adult life, I was choosing myself over everyone else's expectations and demands. My alarm buzzed at 6:30 sharp on Christmas morning. I'd slept surprisingly well, waking with purpose and clarity rather than the fog of sadness from the day before. I showered, dressed, ate a quick breakfast. Then I got to work. The locksmith, an older man named Frank, arrived at 7:30. Family issues? He asked halfway through, his tone conversational. You could say that, I replied. He nodded. Holidays bring out the best and worst in families. Been married 42 years, and my wife's family still drives me to change the locks every now and then. He winked, and I found myself smiling for the first time in days. By 9 a.m., Frank was done. New keys in hand, I thanked him, adding a generous tip. The moving company arrived at 9:30. 2 strong young men, Derek and Justin. We're doing some renovations, I explained when Justin raised an eyebrow. The family's away, and I want to surprise them. They worked efficiently, and by 11 a.m., the garage was neatly stacked with labeled boxes and furniture: my parents' clothing, Kyle's gaming setup, Amanda's extensive beauty collection. I placed a large envelope on top, containing my letter and the new house keys, then locked the garage with its separate key, a key I would leave in a hidden spot only the family knew about. Inside the house, I set up security cameras: front door, back, main living area, all connected to an app on my phone. Next came the financial untangling. I logged into our shared family account and transferred my portion to my personal account. I removed my credit card from all family subscription services. I changed passwords on accounts that were technically mine, but the family had been using freely. By early afternoon, my suitcase was packed for Bali. The house was secured. Everything was in place for the family's eventual return. I took one last walk through the home I had shared with my parents for most of my adult life. Not out of financial necessity, but out of a misplaced sense of duty. This house, you see, my grandmother had left to me 5 years ago. I'd invited my parents to continue living here, never charging them rent, despite taking on the mortgage payments myself. Another fact conveniently forgotten. As I stood in the entryway, keys in hand, my phone began buzzing. They'd arrived at the resort. Right on schedule. I didn't answer immediately. I took my time locking up, loading my suitcase into my car. Then, sitting in the driveway, I began reading the messages. Mom, Natalie, there's been some mistake with the reservation. Call me immediately. Dad, your mother's upset. Fix whatever you did with the resort booking. Amanda, what did you do? They said you canceled everything. Call me now. Kyle, WTF, Natalie. There's nowhere to stay. Everything's booked. Aunt Susan, we're all standing in the resort lobby with nowhere to go. Please call someone. Message after message of increasing panic and anger. No acknowledgement of what they'd done, just expectations that I would solve the problem I'd created. I scrolled through them all, then typed a single reply to the family group text, the one I hadn't been included in until this emergency. I know you plan to leave without me. I know you never intended to reimburse me for the trip. I've canceled the reservation and received a full refund. Enjoy your Christmas. The response was immediate. My phone rang and rang with incoming calls, which I declined one after another. Text messages flew in faster than I could read them. Mom, Natalie, you're overreacting. It wasn't like that. Dad, this is completely unacceptable behavior. Amanda, I can't believe you'd ruin Christmas for everyone over a stupid misunderstanding. Aunt Karen, we're stranded in Colorado with nowhere to stay. How could you be so selfish? I let them rant, watching the messages accumulate. Let them feel a fraction of the helplessness and exclusion I'd felt. Let them understand that actions have consequences. After about 20 minutes, the tone began to shift. Mom, Natalie, please. We're sorry if you felt excluded. We can talk about this. Dad, your mother's crying. At least tell us what you expect us to do now. Amanda, okay, fine. We shouldn't have left without you, but this is extreme. Where are we supposed to go? I texted back one more time. I'm sure you'll figure something out. You're all so resourceful when it comes to planning things without me. Then I silenced my phone, started my car, and drove to the airport for my flight to Bali, feeling lighter with each mile that separated me from the family that had taken me for granted for the very last time. The aftermath unfolded while I was in Bali, where I spent a peaceful week reconnecting with myself. I kept my phone on Do Not Disturb, checking it only once a day for true emergencies and to monitor the security cameras at the house. What I saw, and the messages that accumulated, painted a picture of chaos and desperation. According to cousin Rachel, who sent me private, genuinely remorseful messages, the scene at the resort had been apocalyptic. No reservation, no available rooms during Christmas. They had to split up, some driving hours to find exorbitant last-minute hotel rooms, others crammed into a tiny cabin Uncle Robert found. Their anticipated Christmas dinner was takeout pizza in cramped quarters. The group chat exploded with blame. Amanda and Kyle tried to maintain I'd misunderstood, but as the discomfort and financial reality set in, the truth emerged. Fine, we did plan to leave without her, Amanda finally admitted. But she's always so controlling about these trips, always making everything about her feelings. We just wanted one Christmas without walking on eggshells. My mother, surprisingly, defended me. She paid for everything, Amanda. She's been paying for these trips for years, and we've barely reimbursed her. What did you expect her to do when she found out? Not ruin Christmas for everyone? Amanda shot back. I think we ruined it first, Kyle wrote, showing unexpected insight. For her, at least. They cut their trip short, heading home after just 2 days of misery. On December 27th, my security cameras showed them arriving at the house, luggage and all, only to discover they couldn't get in. I watched as my father tried his key repeatedly, as my mother peered through windows, as Amanda paced, making animated phone calls. Eventually, someone thought to check the garage, finding my note and the new keys. I observed them reading my letter together, faces falling as they absorbed the detailed account of how they had treated me, culminating in the Christmas abandonment. I'd made it clear, this was my house, left to me by my grandmother. I'd allowed them to live there rent-free while I covered the mortgage. That arrangement was now over. They could stay temporarily, but I would be charging market rate rent beginning February 1st. I returned from Bali on January 3rd, refreshed and resolute. All their cars were in the driveway. They knew I was coming. They were waiting in the living room, a tableau of familiar faces wearing unfamiliar expressions, uncertainty, anxiety, even fear. Natalie, my mother began, rising from the couch. We need to talk about what you've done. No, I said calmly, remaining standing just inside the doorway. We need to talk about what you've all done for years. This is ridiculous. Amanda interjected. So, we left without you on a trip. It was immature, fine. But changing the locks, threatening to evict your own family? Who does that? Someone who's finally had enough, I replied. Someone who's tired of being exploited and taken for granted. Someone who's setting boundaries that should have been set long ago. Exploited? My father scoffed. That's a bit dramatic, don't you think? I pulled out my phone. I played a recording I'd made before leaving, a compilation of their messages, planning to exclude me while still expecting me to foot the bill for their Christmas vacation. Their faces changed as they listened to their own voices discussing me as a problem to be managed, a resource to be used, rather than a family member to be respected. When the recording ended, the room was silent. Then, surprisingly, it was Ryan, Amanda's fiancé, who spoke first. I've been sitting here listening to all of you for days, and honestly, I'm appalled. If this is how you treat family, I'm not sure I want to be part of it. Amanda gaped at him. You're taking her side? There shouldn't be sides in a family, he replied. But if there are, then yes, I'm on the side of the person who was wronged. Kyle shifted uncomfortably. He's right. What we did was messed up. All of it, not just the trip. He looked at me directly. I'm sorry, Natalie. Really sorry. One by one, they began to acknowledge what they'd done, though some more grudgingly than others. My mother cried, my father looked ashamed, and Amanda vacillated between defensive and contrite. The conversation lasted hours, dredging up years of family patterns. I remained calm but firm, making it clear that things would be different. I outlined my terms: rent payments for those living in the house, repayment plans for outstanding loans, and clear expectations about mutual respect. And if we don't agree to these terms, my father asked, a hint of his usual authority returning. Then you'll need to find somewhere else to live by February 1st, I replied simply. This is non-negotiable. In the days that followed, the family fractured and realigned. My parents, faced with the financial reality, decided to accelerate their plans to downsize. They moved out by mid-January. Amanda and Ryan postponed their wedding. Her behavior had revealed aspects that troubled him deeply. She moved in with a friend, and our relationship remained strained but civil. Kyle, surprisingly, asked if he could continue living in the house and pay rent. I want to make things right, he said. And I want to get to know my sister again. We established a genuine roommate relationship that slowly evolved into a real sibling bond. Extended family members reached out individually. Some apologized sincerely. Others remained distant. Aunt Susan never spoke to me again. Uncle Robert sent a heartfelt letter and a check. Cousin Rachel and I began meeting for coffee, rebuilding our relationship. My parents struggled, but made genuine efforts. My mother called weekly, careful to ask about my life. My father sent awkward but sincere texts. Small steps, but meaningful. The most surprising outcome was with Amanda. After 3 months of minimal contact, she asked to meet for dinner. I was jealous of you, she confessed. You've always been the capable one, the one with everything together. I felt like I had to compete to prove I was better. It was easier to push you away than to admit I admired you. I didn't know if I believed her entirely, but I appreciated the effort. We have a lot of history to work through, I told her. It won't happen overnight. I know, she nodded. But I'd like to try if you're willing. Family therapy became part of our journey forward. Through it all, I maintained my boundaries, firmly but fairly. No more loans without clear terms. No more silencing myself to keep the peace. It wasn't always easy, but I remained committed, and slowly, a different kind of family relationship began to emerge from the ashes of the old one. 6 months after that infamous Christmas, I sat in Dr. Michelle's office for one of our final regular sessions. How do you feel about your progress? She asked. Lighter, I finally said. Like I've put down a burden I didn't even realize I was carrying. And your support network? Growing stronger every day, I replied, smiling. My friends have been amazing. I've reconnected with old college friends, made new ones through a photography class. Building a non-family support network was crucial. And the house? Dr. Michelle asked. Still mine, I said with a confident smile. Kyle's renting one of the rooms, and I've rented another to a graduate student. The rental income covers the mortgage, and I'm saving to renovate the kitchen. I'd reclaimed my space, physically and emotionally. The house that once felt like a site of obligation now felt like a true home. As summer turned to fall, I decided it was time to test the waters of a family gathering. I invited select family members to a small dinner party at my house. My parents, Kyle, cousin Rachel and her husband, Uncle Robert, and after some deliberation, Amanda. I set clear expectations. This was a fresh start. Past grievances wouldn't be discussed at the table. To my cautious delight, everyone accepted. The dinner wasn't perfect. There were awkward moments. But there were also genuine conversations, authentic interest in each other's lives. My mother brought a photo album filled with pictures of me growing up. I realized we don't celebrate you enough, she said quietly. I want to do better. My father helped me grill, asking about my work. Kyle proudly showed off the kitchen shelves he'd installed. Amanda brought a peace offering, a framed photo of us as children. I'd forgotten we used to be friends, she said. After dinner, my father raised his cup in a toast. To Natalie, he said, for having the courage to demand better from all of us. We didn't deserve a second chance, but we're grateful for it. The acknowledgement brought unexpected tears to my eyes. Not from lingering pain, but from the recognition that true healing was possible. That Christmas was different. Smaller, more intimate, held at a neutral location. Everyone contributed equally. No dramatic exclusions, no manipulation, no taking anyone for granted. We exchanged thoughtful, personal gifts. We shared memories, both difficult and fond, with new honesty. Not everyone from the original group was there. Some relationships had proven too damaged to repair. But those who came seemed genuinely committed to creating something healthier. As I drove home that evening, I reflected on the journey. From the devastating discovery of intentional exclusion to the careful reconstruction of relationships worth saving. From being the family doormat to a woman with boundaries, self-respect, and the courage to demand better. The deepest lesson I'd learned wasn't about family dynamics or even about standing up for myself. It was about the difference between love that diminishes and love that enhances. Between relationships that drain your spirit and those that fill it. I don't regret what I did that Christmas morning. It was the most difficult decision I'd ever made, but also the most necessary. It wasn't about revenge, but about finally valuing myself enough to require better treatment. Some might call it extreme. I call it the first day of a new life. A life where I matter, where my feelings count, where love is demonstrated through actions, not just claimed in words. If you're watching this and recognize yourself in my story, please know you're not alone. Family relationships are complex, but they should never come at the cost of your self-worth. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's essential. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk away from what hurts you, especially when it's family. Have you ever had to set difficult boundaries with loved ones? What was your turning point? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe for more authentic conversations about family dynamics and personal growth. Your support helps this channel reach others who might need to hear they're not alone. Thank you for listening, and remember, you deserve to be valued, respected, and truly seen.